Very good morning. I am Dr. C. Sujata, working as Associate Professor EC Department in the SSM Institute of Engineering and Technology, Dindigul. In this presentation, we are going to discuss about the introduction of VLSI and implementation methodologies. So, the outline of the presentation is introduction of VLSI, IC implementation technologies, and full custom ASIC, semi-custom ASIC, and programmable ASIC. These are the things we are going to discuss in this presentation. Introduction to VLSI design. So before going to discuss about VLSI, first we have to discuss what is integrated circuit. Integrated circuit is a components fabricated on a single silicon wafer is called as integrated circuit. The logic circuits may be implemented on a single silicon wafer or using many chips it can be implemented and interconnected on a single printed circuit board that is called as PCB. The history of integrated circuit is the integrated circuit start from the year 1940s. It was the initial stage of integrated circuit. In 1945, the Bell Lab established a group to develop a semiconductor replacement for vacuum tubes. In 1947, the transistor was invented. In 1951, the junction transistor was invented. In 1958, the integrated circuit was invented. So these are the history of integrated circuits. So in integrated circuit, in 1958, the Jack Kilby, he was working in Texas Instruments. He was the father of integrated circuit. He invented the first monolithic integrated circuit. In the image, we give the pattern. The product was applied for pattern and it got pattern. So the diagram of monolithic integrated circuit was given, and the monolithic integrated circuit is also given here. The Jacob Gilby is also called as the father of integrated circuit. In 1961, Texas Instruments and Fairchild introduced the first logical integrated circuits. In 1962, RCA develops the first MOS transistor. So the image is given for monolithic Fairchild bipolar RTL and RCA 16 transistor MOSFET integrated circuit. In the MOSFET IC, it consists of 16 transistors. In 1967, Fairchild develops a micro mosaic IC using CAD, computer-aided design. Before that, the integrated circuits are fabricated only using the manual process. But after 1967, the integrated circuit was fabricated on computer-aided designing. 1968, Noyce and Moore leave the Fairchild and they start a Intel Corporation of India. So after the Intel was invented, the integrated circuit growth is very rapid growth. We had a lot of advancement in integrated circuit technologies. The evolution of integrated circuit. In 1958, single transistor was invented. 1962, SSI. The family ICs are classified based on the size: SSI, MSI, LSI, VLSI, and ULSI. SSI is called a single scale integration. In 1962, the single scale integration IC was invented, which consists of 1 to 10 transistor per chip. In 1967, MSI IC was invented, which consists of 100 to 1000 transistor on a single chip. In 1972, large scale integrated IC was invented. It consists of 1000 to 10,000 transistor. Very large scale integrator was invented in the year 1978. Up to 1 million transistor can be fabricated on a single VLSI. And ULSI, ultra large scale integrator circuit, in 1990, they invented an ultra large scale integrator circuit. It has more than 10 power 6 transistor per IC. In 2000, system on chip was invented, and the system on chip consists of more than million transistor per IC. The IC implementation technologies are classified based on this. IC can be classified into two cases. One is ASIC, another one is standard IC. ASIC is nothing but application specific integrator circuit, standard IC. Normally in analog and digital lab, we are using standard ICs. Digital IC, analog IC, all the digital IC, NAND gate, NOR gate, OR gate, AND gate, all the ICs are called a standard IC. Similarly, if you take analog integrator lab, bipolar transistor, bipolar IC, you use JFET IC, all the ICs are called a standard IC. That ICs are fabricated for a standard application. That's why it is called a standard IC. And second classifications are application specific integrated circuit. This is the integrated circuit made for specific application. That's why it is called as application specific integrated circuit. The application-specific integrated circuits are classified into three cases: full custom, semi-custom, and programmable ASIC IC. Semi-custom ASICs are further classified into two types. One is standard cell as semi-custom ASIC, gate array, or C of gates. Programmable ASICs are classified into two cases. One is PLD, another one is FPGA. PLD is nothing but programmable logic device. FPGA is called as field programmable gate array. Field programmable gate array is also further classified based on the technology Actel Ultra Silence. In gate array, a sea of gate array is also classified into three. One is channeled gate array, channelless gate array, and structured gate array. These are the various technology in IC implementation. An application specific integrated circuit. Already I told you it is the integrated circuit which is fabricated for a specific application. A chip is designed to perform a particular operation as opposed to general purpose integrated circuit. General purpose integrated circuit is always we are using in all the electronic board, we are using only general purpose integrated circuit. If you design a specific application, if you design IC, that is called as application specific integrated circuit. An ASIC is generally not a software programmable to perform a wide variety of different tasks. An ASIC will often have an embedded CPU to manage suitable tasks. Examples of ASICs are video processor to decode or encode MPEG-2 digital TV signals, low power detector DSP and controller, convergent device for mobile phones, encryption processor for security, many examples for graphic chips. Network processor for managing packet traffic flow. These are the examples of ASICs. Full custom ASIC. As already I told you, ASIC is classified into three cases: full custom, semi-custom, and programmable. First, we discussed about full custom ASIC. In full custom ASIC, the cells are the micro cells are pre-designed micro cells may not be used. Each and the micro cells, logical cells can be fabricated by the user, designed by the user. On all the mask layers, in between each and every IC consists of more number of mask layers. Each and every mask layer consists of various dies. Each and every die we have a monolithic transistors. All the mask layers are customized by the designer. That's why it is called as full custom. The cells are logic cells and all the mask layers are completely designed by custom by the designer. That's why it is called as full custom ASIC. The ASIC is controlled by the designer. So designer, based on the requirement, they can able to design the logic functions as well as interconnection function. So the transistor and interconnections are different for different IC designs. There is no unique common methodology for transistors and interconnection method for common ICs. If you take a standard IC, the transistor and interconnections are common for all the standard IC. But in the full custom ASIC, the interconnection technologies and transistors are different for different ICs. It only makes sense to design a full custom IC if there are no libraries are available. If there is no pre-designed cells are available, the cells must be designed by the designer. In that cases, the full custom ASICs are used. The full custom ASIC gives the highest performance, lowest part cost. So the smallest die size is used in full custom ASIC. Full set of masks required for fabrication. And increased design time and complexity, design expenses, and highest risk are the disadvantages of full custom ASIC. Already I told you, the full custom ASIC, entire thing is designed by the designer. So design time is increased as well as complexity is also increased. Design expenses will be increased in the full custom ASIC. Entire thing is designed by the designer. So all the difficulties are available in full custom ASIC. Microprocessors are the exclusive full custom ASIC. But designers are increasingly turning to semi-custom ASIC technique in the areas too. These are the examples of full custom IC: Intel 4004, Intel 8080, Intel 8085, Intel 8286, Intel 8486. These are the full custom ASIC examples. And next one is semi-custom ASIC. Semi-custom ASIC is nothing but partially customized by the designer. Part of the design cell and mask layers are customized by the manufacturing unit. Semi-custom ASICs are classified into two cases: standard cell arrays, gate arrays, and sea of gates. Only one or few interconnection layers are designed by the designer. Remaining are designed by the manufacturing unit itself. Pre-designed cells are used. As in previous full custom ASIC, There is no pre-designed cells are used, but in semi-custom ASIC, pre-designed cells are used. That is cells available, which is available in the library, may be used for the functions. Transistors are common for all the ICs. Interconnections are different. In previous full custom, in transistor and interconnections both are different for different IC. But in semi-custom, transistors are common for different IC. Interconnection schemes are different. Fabrication costs are reduced. Compared to full custom, the semi-custom fabrication cost is reduced because transistors are common. Partial layers are fabricated, designed by the manufacturing unit. So the fabrication costs are reduced. Compared to full custom, the fabrication cost for semi-custom ASIC is reduced. Fabrication costs are further reduced for FPGA and PLD, programmable ASIC. So these are the classification in semi-custom ASIC, standard cell-based ASIC. Here the IC, the single layer consists of 5 macro cells. The first cell is called a standard cell and the 2, 3, 4, 5 is called as fixed blocks. Fixed blocks are fixed one. We can't able to change any predefined cells in 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why it is called as fixed blocks. But the first block is called as flexible blocks. We can able to program the standard cell area blocks. In the each and every base and logic cell, interconnections can be programmed only in the first blocks. Remaining blocks are fixed. We can able to change the location, but we can't able to change the interconnectivity inside the 2, 3, 4, 5 fixed blocks. That's why it is called a standard cell-based ASICs. Cells are standard. Only internal blocks can be fabricated or changed. A second classification semi-custom ASIC is gate array based ASICs. In gate array based ASIC, there are three types. One is channeled gate array, channelless gate array, structured gate array. Channeled gate array, here if you take a IC, in the layer, the base cells are arranged in row wise. Each and every row we have a space. So spaces are allotted for routing purpose. Each and every row is structurally framed. That's why it is called a channeled gate array. Channel is nothing but channel is the free space available between each and every rows. The channel is used for routing purpose. That is called a channeled gate array. The image is given here. Channelless gate array. In channelless gate array, there is no separate spaces allotted for routing. Entire ICs are made up of logic cells. So there is no free space. So the routing is done using through the bases. Routing is done using the through cells itself. And next one is structured gate array. Third classification. Structured gate array is a combination of two things. For portion of the ICs are fixed one. Embedded blocks are fixed one. We can't able to change anything on the embedded block. Remaining areas are just like in the channelless gate array. That's why it is called a structured gate array. These are the flexible thing in semi-custom ASIC. So it is a cell-based ASIC. Already I told you, it is a channeled gate array. Logic cells are arranged in row wise. In between each and every row, we have a space. That space is called as channel, routing channel. Routing is done using the channels. So this is a color figures of color representation for standard cells and gate array. So channelless gate array, there is no separate space. Structured gate array, we have a embedded block, fixed embedded block stored on the channeled gate array is called a structured block. So what are the drawbacks in semi-custom ASIC? Semi-custom ASIC always called a sea of gates because more number of logic gates are fabricated without space. That's why it is called a sea of gates. Gate array with no routing channels. To form the interconnection, the audio router simply routes over unused cells. The cell-based design, they uses the libraries of standard cell. Standard cells are with one or integer multiples of the standard heights. Usually single layer metals are used. A fixed routing channels between rows of standard cells. These are the comparison between channeled gate array and channelless gate array. Development of gate array technology, addition of limited amount of RAM on a slim chip. And the third classification is ASIC is called as programmable ASIC. In programmable ASIC also, that is entire ASICs are completely programmable. There is no hardware programmable, only functional program can be done in the ASIC. That's why it is called as programmable ASIC. There are two classifications, one is PLD, another one is FPG. Programmable logic design, another one is FPG. Nothing is custom fabricated. PLD, pre-designed cells are used and fuses and antifusers technique can be used. In pre-designed logic cell is used. Here the interconnection schemes are fuses or anti-fuses is used. Transistor and interconnection common here in this case also transistor interconnections are common to all the ICs. FPGA, field programmable gate array. So PLD pre-designed cells are used. Interconnection schemes are fuses and anti-fuses. Stored charges are used. In PLD, transistor and interconnections are common to different ICs. FPGA, field programmable gate array. In this case, pre-designed cells are used. Here fuses or anti-fuses or static storage cells are used. In PLD, fixed stored charges, capacitor based charges are used. In the FPGA, we are using static storage is used. In transistor interconnection, common to distinct IC design. Both the things are almost the same. So this is an example of PLD. PLD RAM, ROM, RAM, PRAM, EPRAM, EEPRAM. These are called as programmable logic devices. In this programmable logic devices, the ICs are made up of macro cells. The macro cells are connected using large programmable interconnection blocks. In between each and every macro cells, we have a programmable interconnection. In the programmable interconnections only, we can able to program the interconnection scheme. That's why it is called as programmable logic devices. We can't able to change any function inside the macro cells. So the macro cells may be ROM, RAM, PRAM, EPRAM or EEPRAM. Programmable logic devices, it contains of PLD, configurable logic blocks. The logic blocks are configurable one. Programmable routing switching block, configurable memory block, input output blocks. Advantages of PLDs are it's a fast prototyping, reprogrammable one, in-system programmable, easy transfer to design rules. HTML to text file formats are available here. Design security in chips. These are the advantages of programmable logic devices. In simple PLD, it is further classified into three cases. One is PLA, PAL, PRAM. Programmable logic array. PLA contains two levels of logics, AND plane and OR plane, where both levels are programmable one. In PLD, only the macro cells are made up of AND arrays and OR arrays. In PLA, and both AND plane and OR planes are programmable one, because all the logic circuits can be implemented using AND function and OR function, SOP format. So the PLDs implement the logic function in SOP format, sum of product format. PAL, programmable array logic. It has the programmable AND plane followed by a fixed OR plane. In PRAM, it has fixed AND plane followed by a programmable OR plane. Both PAL and PRAM trade off flexibility for density and performance. And next one is complex PLD, CPLD. It consists of arrangement of multiple simple PLD like blocks on a single chip, system on a chip. So this is a pictorial representation for PRAM, PAL, PLA. In PRAM, both AND array and OR arrays are fixed AND array followed by programmable OR array. In PAL, AND array is programmable one, fixed OR array. In PLA, both AND and OR arrays are programmable one. So it is a detailed circuit-wise presentation of PLA, PRAM and PAL. So the arrays are like this. Fixed by using this arrangement, we can implement any logic function, AND function and OR function by using NOT function by using three because AND, OR and NOT is a basic logic function. By using these three functions, any digital logic can be implemented. So these are examples of how the functions are fabricated in PRAM. If the function f0 is equal to x0, x1 plus x2 bar. So here f0 is implemented. Wherever x0 and x product is given, that the corresponding point is programmable. Remaining points are leave as it is. Programmable node and unprogrammable node. So this is the programmable design for PLA. And last one is field programmable gate array. Here it contains a regular structure of programmable basic logic cells surrounded by a programmable interconnect. The exact type, size and number of programmable basic logics are varies tremendously. Field programmable gate, each and every layer consists of programmable basic logic cell. In each and every programmable basic logic cell, we can able to fabricate 1,000 and 10,000 transistor parallel cell. So here by using the FPGA IC, we can able to implement many logic function and many logic transistors can be fabricated on a single chip. So it is the advanced model of ASIC design. That's it. So this is the, that's all that. So these are the content of this presentation. So what are the things we discussed in this slide presentation is introduction of IC, evolution of IC, histories of integrated circuit, and implementation methodology in IC, classification on the IC. So these are the things we discussed in this presentation. Thank you.